My name is Brooklyn Ladd, and I'm going to be talking about why same-sex adoption should be allowed. Adoption is important in the lives of same-sex couples because they are unable to make children naturally together. All over the world, there is controversy on whether or not same-sex couples should be allowed to adopt children. Today, I will tell you about the children everywhere waiting to be loved and adopted by someone. One way to solve this problem is to encourage same-sex adoption. There are same-sex couples everywhere who are eager to adopt and welcome a child into a loving home. Many homosexual couples would argue that same-sex adoption is harmless to children and should be allowed. According to a professional mentalist, Mark Maxwell, gay and lesbian foster parents must meet the same standards as heterosexual couples before they are allowed to adopt and care for a child. The adoption process was made to eliminate those who are not qualified to adopt and become foster parents. Any person who is capable and has enough patience to actively go through and complete the adoption process is a good and acceptable person to have as a parent. Same-sex couples are frequently more motivated parents because they aggressively choose to become parents and have to work hard to get there. Benjamin Siegel, who studied at the University of Chicago School of Medicine and is actively a pediatrician in Boston, says all the evidence found about homosexual couples who have been adopted show that they do make good parents just as well as non-homosexual people do. Scientific evidence confirms that many children have similar emotional and development needs that should be met. Results show that children receive similar parenting results whether they were raised by homosexual or heterosexual parents. Although children raised by homosexual couples generally develop and progress as usual, these children do face unique challenges. Many studies have shown that the sexual orientation of same-sex parents do not affect the child. However, the bullying and disapproval the child receives from their peers because of having same-sex parents may negatively affect the child. Regardless of the parents' relationship with one another, the child could suffer developmental and psychological issues later in life. The disapproval and social stigmatization of children who have same-sex parents have been considered a real and serious concern for parents and researchers everywhere. Since the early 1990s, social stigmatization was used to show how same-sex couples were unfit to raise children. This was proved in a custody battle between homosexual and heterosexual couples. According to Dr. Harold D. Clark, a political scientist and research analyst, says researchers have studied and found that sexual orientation might result in an unfit environment to raise a child. These studies done by Clark demonstrate that children raised by same-sex parents get bullied about everything including the sexual orientation of their parents. The parent's sexual orientation provide a chance for attack from a bully. In the state of South Carolina, the laws are silent on same-sex adoption, and they look into the best interest of the child on a case-by-case status. If a child has two living and capable parents to choose what is in the best interest, then all legal and social institutions should allow and support them to adopt. Regardless of their sexual orientation, the South Carolina Equality Foundation is a civil rights organization for homosexuals. The organization states they do not think that marital or relationship status should affect the consideration of a person being able to adopt and become a foster parent. According to Susanna Walters, a professor at Northeastern University, many people agree that the sexual orientation of a parent does not determine their capability of being a good parent to their child, and should not determine whether or not they are allowed to adopt. Today I told you about how there is no evidence that proves children living in homes with same-sex couples is damaging to the families or the children involved. Overall, the legalization of same-sex parents to adopt children would benefit children across the world and the society as a whole. Many states do not have laws that exactly state whether or not gay or lesbian individuals or same-sex couples are allowed to adopt. Most laws were written to leave out sexual orientation of a person. Clearly, children adopted by same-sex couples are not negatively affected. It is a shame that many children who just want to be adopted and put into a loving home are bullied because of their parents' sexual orientation. But no people should be denied the right to adopt a child because of their orientation. All children have the same basic needs to be in a loving, safe, and secure environment. These things can be provided by any parent. It has nothing to do with the sexual orientation. All people who want to raise a child and are capable of doing so should be given the opportunity of being a parent. Thank you.